1949 Buick model lineup was broken down into three different model offerings on two different wheelbase chassis. In the basement was the Special Series 40, followed by the Super Series 50 in the center. Both the Special and the Super ride the 121-inch wheelbase chassis. Both are powered by Buick's 248 cubic inch displacement overhead valve in line 8. The Special had a lower compression version of that engine, making 110 horsepower, while the Super got the higher compression ratio, making 115 horsepower. And then, sitting at the top of the heap, was the Buick Roadmaster Series 70. Buick would offer the Super, and that's a bit complicated. It actually started off as the Series 50 back in 1930. The Super name would accompany the Series 50 in 1940. Buick would offer the Super from 1940 through 1942. World War II happened. Production was halted for war production. They picked back up in 46 through 58 before Buick would discontinue the Super model. But they would bring it back after a 50-year hiatus, bringing it back as a performance trim on the LaCrosse from 2008 to 2009 and the Lucerne from 2008 to 2011. Or 2011, depending on what part of the world you're from. Some people say 2011, some people say 2011. Either way, if you don't say it the way that they want you to say it, they get offended. Neither here nor there. Buick would offer the Super in 5 generations. 1949 falls in the 3rd generation, which was produced 49, 50, 51, 52, and 53. Built on General Motors C-body platform with the Roadmaster, but it was on the shorter chassis shared with the Special. 1949 Buick Super could be had in body styles such as 6-passenger 4-door sedan, 6-passenger 2-door sedan, 6-passenger 2-door convertible, and 6-passenger 4-door station wagon. 1949 did get a completely new redesign, so let's compare 48 on top, 49 on the bottom, starting in the front. Let's talk about similarities before we talk about differences. The hood ornaments between these two look very similar. Not saying that they're the same, but very similar. There are bezels around the headlights. Headlights are single. Both have split windshields, but the split windshield on the 49 looks slightly bigger than the split windshield on the 48. Antenna location is the same on both of these cars, mounted directly above the divide in the windshield. Super cool place to put it. Differences. Just about everything is different between these two. From the fenders to the hood profile, the whole front fascia has been redesigned. The grille is totally different shape, even though it pertains to that waterfall type grille. The crests are different between these two. Turn signal location is different between these two. I'm not entirely sure if this one has turn signal indicators. They kind of look like fog lights. Oh, yes. Yes, the 49 definitely has turn signal indicators. They are up on top of the fenders. They're like fender marker lights, but I think they double as the turn signal indicators. If I'm wrong, correct me in the comment section below. Both the 49 and the 48 have scalloping on the hood profiles. It's very light, but you can see it. Both of them have like a pronounced nose. The nose bulge gets bigger on the 49. It looks more petite on the 48. The 48 is definitely more sculpted than the 49. The 49 has Veniports that the 48 doesn't have. The side mirrors are rectangular on the 48 versus circular on the 49. Moving to the side profile, just look at how much more sculpted the 48 is versus the 49. Both of them have that rear bulge at the back. Both of them have gravel guards. Both of them have beltline molding. Both cars have vent windows, both front and rear. The roof situation is different between these two. The pillar in the back or sail panel looks bigger on the 48 than it does on the 49. Moving to the rear quarter section, as you can see, totally different back here, but the gas filler location is roughly in the same place. Just take a look at the back glass between these two. The 49 is more curved than the 48. Brake lights also change. They go from horizontal on the 48 to vertical on the 49. The 49 brake lights are very interesting design, which you'll see better during the walk around. The badging also changes location as well as the overall trunk profile, as well as bumpers. It's almost like these are two totally different cars. Jumping inside to take a quick gander at the dash and interior situation, which you've guessed it, both totally different. Which one did you like better? If this is your first time ever checking out this channel, welcome to What It's Like, the automotive channel that dives in deep on the history, specs, designs of your favorite cars from the past. We post between 4 and 5 episodes a week with engine episodes and company history sprinkled in. If any of that sounds of interest to you, subscribe and hit the bell icon next to it to never miss a video. Let's talk specs. 209.5 inches long, 78.5 inches wide. It rides a wheelbase of 121 inches. It weighs 3,835 pounds. Price, $2,157, which would be equivalent to you spending $29,134.45 in the year 2025. Total 1949 Buick production. This one might be a little bit of a contention area because the calendar year production was 348,482 units, but they assembled more cars than they sold in that year for whatever reason. There's two numbers in the standard catalog. As far as assembled cars that they built evidently was 409,138. But if you go on the internet, everybody's got a different number. Moving on to engines. Only one engine on offer for this car. 248 cubic inch displacement overhead valve inline 8. 4 liters. It's good for 115 horsepower, 3,600 RPM, 206 pound-feet, or 279 newton meters, around 2,000 RPM, with a bore of 3 3/32 inches and a stroke of 4 1/8 inches. Compression is 6.6 to 1, 5 main bearings with mechanical valve lifters. When backed with a 3-speed manual transmission, 0 to 60 could be had in 17.8 seconds. Theoretical top speed of 80 miles per hour while achieving an average of anywhere between 10 to 12.8 miles to the gallon. I found this 1949 Buick Super at Classic Auto Mall out in Morgantown, Pennsylvania. Unfortunately, this car's been sold, but they have other stellar cars in their inventory, over 800 cars currently for sale when recording this episode. Also, if you have a car and you've been kicking around the idea of maybe selling it, getting something different, selling a car can be hard. Classic Auto Mall takes all of the headaches out. Just think, you don't have to deal with tire kickers. You don't have to deal with people that just want to drive your car. Plus, Classic Auto Mall has shipping available, so they have more reach than people just passing the end of your driveway. So if you're thinking about selling your car, consider consigning it at Classic Auto Mall. Also, be sure to tell them that Jay from What It's Like sent you there. Let's talk styling, starting with the bumpers. Look at how this apron protrudes the top of it. It's really cool how that flares up like that and then dissipates as it comes around the side. There's bolts in this bumper design. Massive overriders and or bumperettes with overrider bars in the center. It says Super in the center as well. Buick 8 right above that. Nice waterfall grille. Headlights with bright bezels around it. Nice marker lights as well as fender trim. Just notice all of the textured effect here. Lots of nice hood lines in this design. You got catwalk region with scallops. Center line going down towards the Buick shield, coming up to the Buick bullseye mascot and or hood ornament. This car has a center line going back towards the split windshield with windshield wipers that oppose. Also have some accessory lights here with Buick. It's coming down the fender here. Notice where the bumpers end. Fenders are just rolled. Got 3 Vaniports here that actually look functional. How about that? Superscript there. Lower beltline trim that runs all the way back. But just take a look at this trim. Stainless. And how it tapers in right before the door jamb. This car does not have an external cowl. Petite windshield wipers that oppose with the windshield wiper in the center there. Side mirrors are located on the door itself. Drip rails, which start at the base down here, and they run the cabin of the car. You also have trim around the windows, and then you have this bottom trim. And notice, because this is a 4-door, there's a trim piece here in between where the doors are, which is a cool touch. It's at the top as well. Massive gravel guard. Fender skirts on this one. Dynaflow. This one's got the Dynaflow. Transmission. Got this gas filler is on the driver's side. This one has a curved back glass that is one piece with trim that goes on the bottom and the top. Check out these brake lights. What a cool design that is. And then the rear quarter extends past it. Bumpers wrap around but are a completely different design in the back. People behind you will know that you have a Dynaflow in your Buick. This one has backup lights in 2 locations. There's one there. There's another over there. Massive overrider bars and or bumperettes, which coincide with the massive ones in the front. It has this bar that goes between. While we're back here, absolutely massive trunk with a low load floor. You just got to watch out for these massive bumperettes. Full size spare in the back. This one comes equipped with jack stands and bumper jack off to the side. Getting inside, but before we do, just take a gander at this door handle profile. You know, companies don't put quality in cars anymore. Even the door handles on these cars are art. Because this is a sedan, the door is completely framed out. You got the door lock there, armrest, door handle to get out, window crank for the big window, which operates like this. Window crank for the vent window. Notice this part here curves to meet up with the dashboard here. I'll show you what it looks like on the other side. So it flows. Coming down inside the pedal box down here, you have the parking brake and or emergency brake. This is the brake release. Hood release is inside. Brake pedal, gas pedal. Just take a gander at this interior. Interior looks amazing in this car. Survivor car. Here's what over the hood looks like. Here's what first person
over the hood would look like.
On to the button switches and knobs, starting on the left and moving right. I really dig this dash layout and the font used. The very first gauge pod has 2 gauges inside of it. At the top is the amp meter, coolant temperature below. Just below that is the heat and defroster controls. 110 mile per hour speedometer with numbers 110, 190 flipped so the driver can see them. High beam indicator is in the top dead center. Odometer and trip odometer towards the middle. The third gauge pod has 2 gauges inside of it as well. Gasoline gauge at the top, oil pressure at the bottom, clock, fan blower speed, headlights, fog lights, ventilation, lighter, map lights, key and ignition, Buick AM radio. Drive modes read park, neutral, drive low, reverse. The steering wheel lets the driver know the model, it says Super, as well as this one's equipped with the Dynaflow drive.
Up above, you've got sun visors, and they are on the massive side. Here's my hand for reference. Another sun visor over here, which has the accessory mirror dealership installed. This one has a daytime, nighttime feature rear view mirror, just by placing the... Up here, this is to control the radio antenna. Bringing back an old test to show you the crotch test. I wear size 34 pants, and there is barely any room to put my hand in between my lap and the steering wheel. And the reason I show you this is because if you're bigger, you might not fit in this car. The steering wheel does move freely, though. On to the glove box test. Here is our test subject. Here is my hand for reference. Here is the glove box in question. Holy cow. Look at that glove box. It's absolutely huge. And the camera has absolutely no problem at all fitting in there. And you can lock it and nobody would ever know that it's in there. Or a purse. Imagine if the camera was a purse. So just take a gander at this rear door. Notice the rear door does not have an armrest on the door panel itself, but there is an armrest right here on the bench itself. Super classy feature back here. You got the vent windows in the back, as well as door handle to get out, window crank for the big window. Before getting back here, just notice the transmission tunnel isn't that high. Nicely carpeted back here. There is a robe rail on the seat back in front for a heavy blanket. Also notice the sill plate down here isn't one size. It's narrower here where it says Buick, and then it fans out to meet up with how this bulges out. Here is what the front looks like from the back. Let's take a quick gander at the greenhouse, or the pillar to glass ratio, which is nice and airy in this car. This is what visibility looks like out the rear window from the back seat. There is a massive parcel shelf behind the rear seat occupants. Creature comforts. There's an armrest here in the center. There is a coat hook up there. Dome light in center, which is vertical facing instead of horizontal facing, and another coat hook over here. Let's talk about the seat back profile back here. It is a little bit reclined, but is more upright than you would think. And the seat back, the seat bottom dips down, so your legs consequently go up more. But with all of that said, I'm 6'2". I have no problem at all sitting back here. I got 7.5 inches of space between my knee and the back of the seat because that's how long my hand is. There is a footrest underneath the seat, so if you put your feet up here, that even gives you even more space for your knees. There's no problem with space back here whatsoever. It would be a great car for the whole family. You could fit 6 adults in this car. No problem at all.
Taking a real quick gander under the hood is the Fireball inline overhead valve 8. Intake and exhaust is on the same side. Downdraft carburetor, air cleaner that goes across to the other side of the engine, oil bath variety. Generator, dual horns, mounted to the firewall, fresh air ventilation, external oil filter, long slender battery underneath the air cleaner. On the positive side, beautiful car, loads of bright work, low loading floor for the trunk, and it's a huge trunk. Space throughout. There's enough space in this car for 6 full-size adults in the year 2025 to fit inside, because we're just bigger now for whatever reasons. I think it's the hormones that they put in the food and then we eat the animals. Anyway, Buick overhead valve, inline 8 power, so much detail, and it's one of those cars, the more you look, the more you see. The hood opens up a very interesting way. Against it, I can't think of much other than because there is a lot of bright work. That could be expensive if the bright work isn't in good shape. Certain trim parts, certain body parts might be hard to find as well. All right, now it's time for Would You Rather. 2 scenarios today, and these aren't fair, but which one would you rather have? 1949 Oldsmobile 98, or 1949 Buick Super, or 1949 Mercury. I'm going to leave this here for a minute. If you need more time, feel free to pause the video. On to the second scenario, 1949 Nash Ambassador, or 1949 Buick Super, or 1949 Hudson Commodore 8. Once again, going to leave this here for a minute. If you need more time, feel free to pause the video. Now it's time for Name That Tune. First person to give both the name of the band, song title, and the lyric that comes next. You need all 3 to have your comment pinned to the top of the comment section. We take the passion and we throw away. Conventionality belongs to yesterday. Thank you all so much for coming out and watching this one. But before we get into the after show, I want to show you this. I Googled what it's like, automotive channel or car show, and it knows us, which is super cool because for the longest time, if you typed in what it's like in the search bar, it never came up. So I just thought that was interesting and I wanted to share it with you guys. Until next time, toodaloo! Welcome to the after show. This part of the video doesn't have any sound or commentary, but it gives those people that are looking to put these cars back together a up-close look at what this car looks like, what the trim looks like, what the bumpers look like, what the fenders look like, and everything else. Enjoy.